And it was interesting that Cole ended up having a brilliant series against England in 58-59. I think was Wisden's one of Wisden's 5 cricketers of the year that year. I'm pretty confident about that.
Well, you're wrong. It's quite ridiculous because I was a good average Test cricketer. I'm not blowing my bags on that. I know I was a reasonably good Test cricketer. I had a very good year against England in 58-9. I won the batting average at about 64 or something, and because of that, I became an honorary life member of Marylebone Cricket Club, and I thank Marylebone. I thank them ever since because it's lovely. There was a cricket magazine, Players magazine, made the ridiculous remark that I was the greatest batsman in the world. Well, I've done out on that, of course. It's quite absurd. Never that, but probably for about 1 month, I was a good player in everyone's eyes, but I was not one of Winston's 5 players of the year. I should have been.
All right, well, we'll take that. Now we're on international cricket. I want to ask you a few questions about people who were heroes of many of us here in the room. Who were the top batsmen and the top bowlers of your international career? Just a handful of each?
Are you talking Australians or everyone?
I think we'll come to the Australians in a moment. Let's talk about the internationals.
Well, the non-Australians,
yep.
the best batsmen, the best cricketers were clearly Gary Sobers. Now, Sobers was the outstanding batsman. You've got to think of Everton Weekes and
Worrell
and Frank Worrell and the other and Clyde Walcott. They were great players. Of the bowlers, you'll be surprised at this, but I think the greatest slow bowler I ever played against was a South African, Hugh Tayfield. Never hear much of him these days. Great bowler, to my mind a better bowler than Jim Laker. I played against some great fast bowlers. Wesley Hall, Frank Tyson, Brian Statham, Fred Truman, and 2 South Africans, Peter Heine and Neil Adcock. Now, they were all great bowlers. But the greatest of them was Hall and Tyson.
And who was the quickest?
Hall.
And how would you rate Hall's pace against, say Brett Lee and people like that we would know?
Well, there was rudimentary speed measuring equipment when I was playing, and Hall was measured at 160 k's per hour. Now, I don't know, we'll never know how good that equipment was. The accurate equipment these days is really fast bowlers are getting perhaps to 150, but 140 is normal for a good fast bowler. Lee apparently has hit 150. I would think Hall was 160. That's mighty fast, 100 miles an hour. He was extremely fast and he was a very accurate bowler.
Batsman, Tyson, Statham?
Tyson would have been similar. Don't misunderstand me, I'm certainly not suggesting that the better players in my day than today. We weren't. We're probably just as good, we're human beings and we did the same things. Sorry, I lost the track.
No, the Tyson and Statham.
Tyson and Statham were great bowlers. So Frank Tyson was exceptionally fast and dangerous. I'll tell a little story about Frank. It was in Adelaide. I was opening the batting with Jim Burke, and I was at the bowler's end. Tyson was bowling to Burke, and he bowled a bouncer, which Berkey just got out of the way of. The next ball was exceptionally fast, short, straight at Burke's head. And Berkey just about cleaned up. We didn't have any helmets in those days. And Tyson followed on right down to the pitch, right down the pitch. Got to within about 3 yards of Jim Burke, got down on his knees, looked up at Berkey and said, "Missed ya." And you know what, and Berkey, excuse me, the lady present, Berkey said, "Oh, me another one of those, you bastard, I'll knock your block off with this F and back." You know what the next ball was like. Just the same. At any rate, Berkey didn't like it. But the end of all that was, as Tyson came back about to deliver his next ball, he had to walk past me at the bowler's end. And I looked over to Frank. I said, "Well bowled."